What's up, guys? Welcome to the Last Down Podcast. It's your boy, Lopez.
And it's your boy, Anguiano.
I know we missed a week. There were some things going on, but we're back. We're here. We're going to discuss the most important thing that we've been kind of waiting for other than the draft, and that's the schedules. It's finally here. We have every week's games. And what do you think? What's your first reaction?
My first reaction is that my Rams are in the Caleb Williams sweepstakes. And not only that, me and him, we finally know when we're probably going to go see that game we've been wanting to see, if you know what I'm saying.
Correct. I believe it's November 3rd.
November 5th, around there.
Yeah, the first of November. I'm very happy about that because I was telling him that I would love to go to a snow game, and I think I mentioned it here too. I would love to go to a snow game, but coming from SoCal, we're probably gonna get messed up over there if we go to a snow game. But nonetheless, it's November, early November, so the weather shouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, anything though, we're seriously gonna go to that iconic field. We've been waiting for like a good while.
Right.
We almost went last year, but plans changed. So
last minute, yeah.
This time around, we expect that it's gonna be certainly a situation for both of us to be able to go and hopefully enjoy the Lambeau
right.
seats.
And I mean, not only that, but also get to make fun of you right there in person, right there on a prime time, 12 p.m. game.
It's not a prime time game, just
10,
but
10.
I get you though. I mean, you get to make fun of me
Fox.
because I don't have confidence in my team. I will openly say that right now. I do not have confidence in the team this year. I don't think we're gonna win much. But before we get into the records, there's this one trade that obviously happened between the last time and this time, and it's Zadarius Smith to the Browns. What's your take on Zadarius Smith now being a Cleveland Brown?
Now being a Cleveland Brown,
Yeah.
it's not a big trade. It's not a big trade. I mean, the Browns are gonna probably tank or probably not even be in contention in that division, and so sure they get an upgrade, but I think it's more of a downfall for the Vikings. It's more of a negative for the Vikings because he was their leading tackler last year, I believe. So you lose that Pro Bowler linebacker like that. I mean, it's a big loss for the Vikings, and the Browns do get one. But I mean, is it a big trade? Not really. But if it was like, let's say to another contending team, then yeah, I would have been like, that's a great piece. But the Browns, it's just the Browns.
I feel like the Browns are gonna be. I feel like the Browns are gonna be in the middle, honestly, because they honestly do have some very good pieces, front seven pieces, and one of the best running backs.
Mm-hmm.
And the X factor is really gonna be Deshaun Watson. And him, the way he performs, is really gonna determine how the Browns are going to be in the season. But I agree with you 100%. The Vikings, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You're literally giving away your best defensive player in the front seven. And not only that, they lost Hendricks
and Barr.
They've lost all of them. So, I think the Vikings defense is going to be torn apart.
Yeah.
And I predict them not winning the division.
That's
so with that, let's enter the predictions.
The AFC side. So, let's start with the disclaimer here. I did not go by records. I honestly just went by who's gonna be. I went in order, right? Like who's gonna be the first in the division, who's gonna win the division, who's gonna be last. I didn't go by records because I felt.
How about this? Just go give a range then.
Yeah. Because in reality, it's I don't know. It was a little difficult for me to pick all of the games. So. With no further ado, we start with the AFC East, a division that I'm gonna like a lot. That Aaron Rodgers has gone to, and I mean it is what it is now. But with who's gonna come out first in that division is the Buffalo Bills. They're gonna be, I say, 14-3.
Wow, I didn't expect you to say that, but. I think I don't agree with you because I feel like they have a little bit too much holes. I actually don't think that you're being logical to start off this episode. But nevertheless, I feel like the Jets are gonna be the first place team. I feel like they're gonna be 13-4. I look at their schedule and they're playing a lot of fourth place teams in because you know how the NFL schedule is.
Yeah.
So I feel like it gives them an advantage to year one for Rodgers. Do very well. And also disclaimer. I mean, I haven't said anything yet, but I am predicting trades as well because I do expect some teams to just kind of start tanking for some quarterbacks like Drake May and Caleb Williams.
Yeah, man.
But nevertheless, to start off with the Jets again, like I said, 13-4, and they're gonna be the first seed in my opinion for the AFC.
That is one of the most illogical comments you've ever made in this show because the Jets might have Aaron Rodgers, they might have a stellar cast, but like with all teams, with all due respect,
they're growing though. They're growing. A lot of their
with
best
all due
players
respect,
are gonna be in their second year. They're only going up.
let's look what happened. Exhibit A, the Russell Wilson to the Broncos. Everyone was like, "Oh, they're Super Bowl contenders. Oh, they're gonna make the playoffs."
But Russell Wilson isn't an MVP like Rodgers. Rodgers has won it 4 times. 4 times.
Yeah.
But we're out here talking about, oh, it's gonna be just like the Denver Broncos. Shut up.
No, you can't. What I'm trying to tell you right now is there's no way the Jets are gonna take that big of a leap coming from third in that division.
They were 7-10.
The third in
they
that
were
division.
7-10.
Third in that division.
With the
and go
horrible
straight up
quarterback.
first over the Bills.
Yes.
You're telling me now.
Yes.
That they're gonna beat the Bills twice.
I think they beat them once.
Oh.
But, like I said, the schedules matter.
I hope
They're facing a lot of third place teams that I think they'll annihilate personally. And I think that will help them.
The chemistry isn't there yet. That's all I'm gonna say.
He's had chemistry with Lazard.
Okay.
He's had chemistry with Lazard.
Yeah, but
Garrett Wilson. Let's just be real. Garrett Wilson's gonna be the next Devontae for Aaron Rodgers, and I'm making that bold take right now.
That's why.
He had over 1K with a lot of backups.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. But the reality is, they're not with a team that barely has a year of experience together.
Mm-hmm.
They're not gonna take that big of a leap against the Bills. The Bills are always.
But think about this also. They lost a key linebacker piece. Von Miller, he's gonna miss some time. And I mean I'm not saying the Bills are not gonna be good. But come on, who's second for you?
The Jets. The Jets. Because that's more logical. I see a team that's young, that's hungry. They want to win it all. They obviously got Aaron Rodgers. They want to ball out. Yeah, I do see them making the playoffs. But I just don't see them winning that division against Buffalo. It's Buffalo. They're always contending every year, man. I know they fall short like the Clippers and stuff like that. But I just think that the Jets are not that experienced just yet. They have the primetime games. They have Aaron Rodgers now. Sure, they're gonna get some upsets. I'll see them getting some upsets, but the reality is, they have to establish themselves first, and not let the hype build them up. That's all I gotta say.
In second place, I have Buffalo, so I'm not being. I feel like you're. I know you don't like the take, but that's how I really feel. I feel like they're gonna be 10-7, and they're gonna be the 7th seed. I think they're barely gonna make it.
Oh.
I feel like they're gonna lose a lot of close games to very good teams. Okay. I feel like they're gonna lose to the Chargers. I feel like they're gonna lose to the Chiefs. I feel like they're gonna split with the Dolphins. I feel like they're gonna split with the Jets. It's really not gonna be easy for them.
Okay, where do they play the Chargers at home?
They play them away. They play Kansas City away. They play both of them away. That's why.
Yeah. Well,
10-7.
Sure. It's gonna be some tight games, but over the Chargers, I can see them beating the Chargers for sure away.
I mean, I can see it too, but I just
Bills Mafia travels. Come on now.
I predict the Chargers, handling business. Barely though.
But okay. Well, I'll go on to my third one because I think this one will probably have an agreement over, and I have the Dolphins. I have the Dolphins going 7-10ish, around that range. The reality is, they have a hard schedule. They got the Eagles. They got the Chargers. They got the Chiefs. They got the Bengals. They got the Bills. They got the Jets. They're not going to come out alive in those games, honestly.
I mean, I had them barely missing the playoffs, but I still had them going 10-7.
I don't have them making the playoffs.
I don't have them making the playoffs either,
No,
but I still see them going 10-7.
The Dolphins, with all due respect, I love the Dolphins. Obviously, I had Waddle and Tua. Those were my chain. That was my chain. But obviously, Tua got hurt. But the reality is that you're not going to be able to be competing with those guys all the time with, Tua having a limited amount of tools. Because other than Waddle and Hill, who else is there? You know, they lost Gesicki. The running backs are.
Their defense did get better though. That's why.
The defense did get better.
Because they're still gonna be around.
They're gonna be around there, but I'm just saying their schedule is looking tough. That's all I'm gonna say. It's looking tough.
So I mean, then obviously we both agree that the Patriots are being. Oh last.
Yeah, Patriots are last, and I don't know if you agree with this one, but I think the Patriots are gonna be a bottom 5 team.
I do agree. I had them going 3-14. I feel like they're gonna not win anything in that division.
Yeah, I do see somehow Mac Jones getting benched, and just an eventual collapse. And a collapse is gonna happen.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree. I feel like, yeah, they have a good defense, but Juju Smith-Schuster as your number 1, really?
Yeah.
Mike Gesicki is your best tight end. It's not looking pretty. It's not looking pretty over there in New England. I feel like they should have gone JSN over Christian Gonzalez. But, I mean, you know, at the end of the day, you know.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, they might have a strategy. Tom Brady. Bill Belichick would definitely love to get a guy like Drake May. I don't know. I just don't have him getting the Caleb Williams sweepstakes. I could see him getting like Drake May or someone else. So, I think that's what the Patriots are going to be doing now. And so on to a division that's also pretty tight, and we kind of briefly discussed it. The AFC North. The AFC North is going to be extra competitive this year. But at the end of the day, I have the Bengals going first, 12-5.
I have the Bengals going first as well. No shocker here. I have them going 11-6. And number 2 seed. I mean, they're the best offense in that division, in my opinion. And they really... They did improve in some aspects for sure.
I didn't mention, just a little side note, I do have the Bills as the number 1 seed in the AFC. And the Bengals as the number 3. So, yeah, Bengals, you know, they've constantly, every year, I feel like after the Super Bowl loss, they got better last year. I know they fumbled at the end, but I think they're close. I feel like they're closer to getting back to that Super Bowl game. But will it be this year? I don't know. The AFC's stacked this year.
And, yeah, I think the AFC is going to stay stacked for the next 5 years.
Yeah, and on to the second seed. I have the Ravens. The Ravens, I have them winning over 10 games for sure. There'll be some tight ones with Pittsburgh. There'll be some tight ones with the Bengals. But eventually, I feel like the additions that Baltimore made were great. And adding Zay Flowers, spot on, just what Lamar needed. And so I think, I think they can compete with the Bengals.
I think Ravens also, they're going to be in second place. I got them going 10-7. 5th seed, I feel like, no shocker here. Yeah. I feel like they for sure improved, but given how the AFC is. And I honestly feel like they improved offense. But I feel like the defense could be a little bit better. A little bit worse. The defense.
I mean, I feel like having Raquan Smith at the linebacker and then having guys like Marcus Peters and Marlon Humphrey.
I think he's still a free agent though.
Who?
Peters.
I
think he hasn't been signed yet.
Oh well, they have
Marlon Humphrey.
Kyle Williams.
Hamilton.
Kyle Hamilton. They have Kyle Hamilton. They have Marlon Humphrey. I mean, they still have solid pieces overall. And secondary is very important. It's going to be very important in that division.
Yeah.
And on to the third place. And no shocker here, Cleveland Browns. Just mid. That's all I got to say. They're mid. If Deshaun Watson doesn't step up this year, I don't know what's wrong with. I don't know what to do. You know, they have him for like 3 more years. So
yeah. Third place, I actually have the Steelers, but. I mean, I'll just tell you right now. Steelers and Browns, I have the Steelers 3rd and Browns 4th.
Yeah.
But I have them having the same record, so...
Yeah,
I have them both going 8-9.
Yeah. No, yeah, that division's just, like, really, close.
There's some depth, for sure.
Yeah. And I think the Steelers... I would agree. It's interchangeable, because... in reality...
They both have some nice things
pieces,
to them,
yeah.
But obviously, you know, with Deshaun especially, it's just... I feel like he probably isn't going to return to the form with the Texans.
No.
But if he does, even then, I feel like I don't even know if he could even win that division. I don't think he can.
No.
I don't think he can.
if his best weapon is Amari Cooper, which in no disrespect, of course, is a great wide receiver, it's no comparison to DeAndre Hopkins, who's
it's no comparison to the Bengals.
oh at all either at all. But I'm just saying like his tools that he has at his hand, he only has Chubb and Hunt. Those are the only two guys that he can rely on. But Amari Cooper is no prime Hopkins. So yeah. So I don't see I don't see the Browns competing in that division for the second. But yes, of course, Steelers. I don't think the Steelers are going to be bad at all. I think they're going to be in the wild card hunt for sure. I
think the Steelers and the Browns are barely going to miss both of them.
Yeah, I just don't see the Steelers. They added solid pieces. I agree. The draft was nice. Their draft was one of the best. But I just think that the Steelers they're a year away from contending.
Potentially. Honestly, I wouldn't even know if they're a year away because let's just be honest. Lamar and Burrow are going to be in that division for at least 5 years.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're a year away, but I feel like they're always going to be
in wild card.
In like low end wild card contention.
Right.
I feel like they do a lot of things right for sure. They're in that organization.
Yeah. Mike Tomlin is a solid coach, but I think this might be a hot take, but I think his seat's gonna get warm this year. I think his seat's gonna get a little warm because how long will it take before seeing all these results be like, you know what, Mike Tomlin is not the answer. He's not the guy we need. Obviously he's great. Obviously he's won them Super Bowls, took them to Super Bowls. But at a point or another, you got to realize.
I feel like for Mike Tomlin to be in the hot seat, he would have to have a bad season in general, not just.
That's.
I feel like because I guess also think about it this way, the last 2 seasons he's gone above 500 with honestly quarterbacks who weren't performing like even average.
Yeah.
And it is something you can't just take lightly. You can't just be like, whoa, well, Mike Tomlin, you barely missed the playoffs or you barely make it with these bad quarterbacks, and now you have a bad season. Oh, you're gone now.
Yeah.
I feel like you got to give it a little bit more time than if he doesn't do so well this year. I feel like you still got to give it a little bit more time because his track record is still pretty good, and I think he has 2 Super Bowls. I know for sure he has 1.
No, he has one. He won against the Cardinals. Yeah. He was.
But nevertheless, man. I still feel like, he still needs a little bit of time with Kenny Pickett, and I personally feel like, we'll see what happens. But I do think the Steelers and the Browns both are gonna be 8 and 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. And so now onto a division that it's pretty clear who's gonna come out of it. The AFC South. The first seed is obviously going to be Jacksonville Jaguars. I think they'll have over 10 wins. Last year just really showed us what the Jacksonville Jaguars are capable of with their young talent, with Trevor Lawrence, with Etienne, with Kirk, all these guys, stepping up. I just feel like they're the future. That team is the future. And it's really promising that, they're showing up, winning playoff games this soon. And so, yeah, they're going to make the playoffs as the 4th seed.
I think also I agree with you. I think they're going to be the 4th seed. I think they're going to go 10-7. I obviously like what they were showing towards the end of that last year. And beating the Chargers 27-0. I mean, not 27. Beating the Chargers after being down 27-0 just, it's just impressive.
Yeah,
it really is something you don't see every day, and honestly, the offense has had depth for sure. They have depth, and the defense is starting to come around, and we'll see. But I still think they're 4th seed material, and they're still not, in my opinion, like a super heavy contender yet.
No.
But they're definitely looking like they could be one day.
Yeah, if they get a little bit more weapons down the years, they'll be pretty set. And I think they'll have that same approach like with the Bengals, where like they just give Burrow a bunch of weapons and stuff like that. And so coming in at second, I don't know if this might be a shocker for you, but I have the Indianapolis Colts because I think Andy Richardson is gonna ball out. I think he's gonna ball out. Just looking at the situations for the other 2 teams, I just think Anthony Richardson is in the prime position to ball out. You know, the offensive line for the Colts is solid. You know, you have one of the best running backs in Jonathan Taylor. You have a solid wide receiver in Michael Pittman. The chances are that they're gonna compete in that wild card spot for sure.
I personally feel like they're gonna be second as well. The Colts, I actually have them second.
Yeah.
I had them going 7-10. I feel like, you know, to be Anthony Richardson's first year, but he's definitely gonna uplift that organization in my opinion. Like you said, I feel like he's gonna kind of have his ball out moments for sure. I feel like, you know, because like I said months ago, like if you put Anthony Richardson and Jonathan Taylor on the same offense, that offense is gonna be top 5 in rushing from probably day one.
Yeah, definitely.
And once you can run the football effectively, you're gonna be in a lot of close games.
Oh, definitely.
Because you're gonna put less stress on the defense, and you're gonna potentially get to do a lot of play action. He ran a lot of play action in Florida.
Yeah.
So I mean, he can certainly, in my opinion, adapt that style in the NFL relatively quick. And not only that, like you said, Michael Pittman. I wouldn't say he's a true wide receiver 1, but he's certainly a decent receiver to throw to. And I also like Alec Pierce. I like that tight end. I feel like he's low key a guy that can do good for them.
Yeah.
And nevertheless, I feel like, I agree. Colts are going to be second, in my opinion. And I feel like, you know, they already had the defense. So, yeah.
Yeah, and then third, I have the Tennessee Titans. I just don't think the Titans are going to rise. They have Derrick Henry, but that's it. Tannehill's mid. They lost a lot of wide receivers. Treylon Burks is not the answer. Burke, I don't know. He's not the answer. They messed up. They should have gotten someone else in that draft. And I mean, I don't know if you probably had the same idea as me, but I just think that Derrick Henry is gone. He's gonna be gone. I don't think he's gonna be on that team. The Titans are gonna probably want to get some good draft picks for the future. So I just see Derrick Henry gone. They'll win games. They'll win 5. I have them ranged around like 5 games, 4 games. But they're going to be in the bottom of the list.
Potentially bottom 5 for you?
Maybe bottom 5.
But for sure bottom 10?
Yeah, bottom 10, yeah. Again.
Third place, I had the Texans. I don't know, I guess it's a hot take probably to you. I have them going like 6-11. I do think CJ Stroud is going to have his moments. I really do think he's going to beat some of those fourth place teams he's going to face.
Yeah.
I really do think the defense is certainly going to have even though they lost their best defensive player in I'm not even going to try to say his name, but their best defensive player to the Browns, and then, you know, getting Will Anderson. I do think Will Anderson is NFL ready, and he will certainly I think he will certainly make impact. And not only that, you know, Stingley, I feel like Stingley can take a better leap, and I really do believe in them enough to the point to where, like I said, they're going to be third place in my opinion.
You have them third place?
Yeah, third place. Okay. 6-11. Not really competing, but better than the previous year. You know, they only won like 3 games.
Yeah.
But I think they doubled that to 6.
I don't think it's a hot take, given that D'Amico Ryans, right? D'Amico Ryans is their new coach, and he's coming from the 49ers. And obviously, coaches that have come out from the 49ers have done pretty decent, you know. You have Salah, you have McDaniels, you know, these guys, like they incorporate all of Shanahan's things into their system. And so I feel like D'Amico Ryans is going to do the same, bring his own knowledge, you know, having an elite defense. Like, Will Anderson couldn't have, you know, gone to a perfect place. You know, D'Amico Ryans is the guy that you can rely on. And so I don't disagree. I just feel like they'll be fourth, given the fact that they're a young team, they're a young core. They're gonna need some time to adjust. D'Amico Ryans, also a new coach. I'm saying that he's gonna incorporate a lot of Shanahan's things, but that doesn't mean he's gonna be like instantly good. He's not gonna be like, you know, Super Bowl contenders.
No. I'm not trying to say that at all either.
No. Yeah. I'm just saying they're still a young team, and I don't think they're gonna have an identity yet. They're gonna have to figure out. But I just think the Texans are still gonna be bottom 5 at least, bottom 5 team. Yeah. And
now the Titans, I had them being 4th, and I predict that they're gonna be the worst team in the NFL. I think they're gonna go 2-15. 2-15. I think Henry's gone.
Yeah. Okay.
At some point, you know, like week 7, week 8, he's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, the receivers are horrendous. It's horrendous.
It is. It's bad.
The O-line, a lot of them left, and they barely replenished.
Yeah.
And the defense, I know some of their pieces left. And their secondary is not that good.
Nope.
And their front seven is not that good anymore.
No.
So, I mean, it's not looking good for them at all.
No.
I got them going 2-15. I think they're really going to maybe beat the Texans once or something, and then maybe be like another bad team. Because I know they're face Tampa. Maybe beat Tampa. Maybe. And that's pretty much it, you know? So, I really do not like I don't like what they're doing over there in Tennessee. I think they're the worst team in the NFL in 2023.
And so now I want to ask you that question. Are they going to go for Caleb Williams?
No.
No. Then what's
let's well, no, I'm not talking about my theory at the end of the episode.
All right.
You know, this is what I was talking to you about earlier. Yeah. I think they will trade back.
Okay, I can see that.
In this hypothetical situation, I think they will trade back.
Okay.
For a receiver.
Okay. The reality is they traded up for Levis, so
that's why I'm not thinking they're going for Caleb Williams like that.
Nah, they I don't think.
But I think they'll be the worst team.
I'm like, are they gonna do it for a third straight year where they draft a rookie quarterback?
That's why I told you I had a theory.
Yeah, like no way it's gonna be Willis and then Levis and then Caleb Williams. But I agree with that. I can agree with that. The fact that if they get the first pick, they're gonna trade out. They're gonna they're gonna try to do a Carolina, or try to do a
Chicago Bears, exactly,
and fleece someone.
Exactly. So
now, lastly, out of the AFC, I got the AFC West. Another division that's kind of tight. I kind of wanted to see what scenarios could occur, but nonetheless, there's no debate. There's no argument. The Kansas City Chiefs are going to be the first in that division. No debate. They're the Super Bowl champions. They did lose some pieces though. They lost Juju. They lost McCole Hardman. They lost a couple of defensive pieces, Frank Clark. It is what it is, but Kansas City still pulls through. They've had worse years where they lost other players, but I think they're gonna be the number 2 seed.
I think the Chiefs are also gonna be first place in that division. I got them being the 3rd seed. I think they lose to Cincinnati, but they can still get the same record, 11-6. I think their offense is obviously going to take a little bit of a drop off. Yeah. Just a little bit, just because Mahomes is that good. Yeah. And I do like their defense, though. I feel like the defense is young and it's starting to really form. And really what I saw in the Super Bowl, even though they kind of slowed down the Eagles in that second half. Yeah.
And the defense is pretty solid if it's healthy. And so onto a team that will be good if they're healthy is the Los Angeles Chargers. I have them second. If their key players are healthy, I could see them pushing for first.
I could see it.
If they're healthy.
If they're healthy the whole season, I could definitely see it.
If they're finally healthy for once, that team could compete for first, 100%. But for now, I'm gonna play it safe and I'm gonna put them as second because we saw what happened in the playoffs last year. They can choke. They can mess it up.
Yeah, I mean, I know my friend who's a Chargers fan. I feel bad for him that one day, but nevertheless, I had the Chargers also going second, 10-7. I think they'll be the 6th seed, and pretty much what you're saying. They have some very good pieces, and they can certainly be first place, but obviously, are they going to stay healthy? Yep. And Eckler's situation is kind of, another thing to pay attention to. Yeah. And there's a lot of things in the air. Yeah. But I like the fact that they did get Quentin Johnson.
And so now we move on to 3rd place in the AFC West. I got the Denver Broncos, simply given that team still has to figure it out with Sean Payton. And they'll win more games, I think. But who's Russell Wilson, gonna pass to? There's still uncertainty about is Sutton getting traded? Is Judy getting traded? Like that uncertainty is definitely gonna be the narrative of that team. Is if there's gonna be more trades coming, who's coming in? There's always that possibility of Michael Thomas coming in, but I just don't think they're gonna be as great for the first year with Sean Payton.
I think I guess this is a hot take, but I was really just saying screw it.
Yeah.
I think the third place team in the AFC West is gonna be the Las Vegas Raiders. I think they're gonna go 8-9. I know Jimmy G, he's all right in the sense. The reason why I had to put them above the Broncos is because I feel like the Raiders have an identity on offense, unlike Denver. I feel like the Raiders actually got better on defense, unlike Denver. I feel like the freaking Denver Broncos O-line is horrible, and the Raiders is not that good either. But I really think Jimmy G, when you have Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, and a rookie tight end who looks like he can certainly ball out in the NFL, and Hunter Renfrow, like it's hard for me to think that, believe it or not, it's hard for me to think that the Raiders are not going to be really competitive in some games. And I was looking at their schedule, and I really think they can really pull out 8 wins.
Yeah, well, in that aspect, yeah, they have the Raiders do have more weapons for Jimmy G than the Broncos have for Russell Wilson, because obviously, like I said previously, Judy and Sutton are up in the air about which one's getting traded first, and then you have
Javonte Williams, the running back.
Yeah,
and then let's not forget the Raiders have Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, I wanted to add on was that Javonte Williams is coming from an injury, a very significant injury. So what are, I don't want to be, negative about it, but what
if he's asked?
What if he's not the same anymore?
Yeah.
What if he's not? He doesn't have that burst, that elite burst that he had. So that's what I'm saying. It's up in the air for me for the Broncos to be third. And so I do kind of agree in the aspect that it's interchangeable. It could be the Raiders. It could be the Raiders being a sneaky team in the AFC South.
I wouldn't say sneaky, but they're not going to be far off.
Yeah, they'll be competitive. I feel like they'll be competitive. Yeah,
exactly.
And so now I'm gonna let you lead the NFC side.
Well, for fourth, I had the Broncos. Let me just say that real quick. But I had them trading Jerry Jeudy. I feel like it isn't too surprising because there's already rumors.
Yeah.
But I think they're going to go like 6-11, and at that point, everyone's very concerned about Denver.
Definitely. Yep.
Sorry, my throat is tickling right now. But the NFC side. First, the NFC East, I got the Eagles. I got them being the number 1 seed, 13-4. No surprise here. I'm sorry. But their defense is their defense did take a small hit, but I think they're still gonna be good.
Yeah.
And then you have them first too, or no?
Of course, the Eagles are gonna be first. They were the runner-ups last year. There's no doubt in my mind that the draft, they got really good. The draft was really elite for them.
My throat is fucking bothering me.
So, as he steps aside, I'll continue the show. This man is choking more than the Rams in the playoffs. Anyways, the reality is the Eagles are the number 1 team, and no one's going to beat them. I still have them going the number 1 seed because as we go on, I'm going to just say it out loud. There's no other team that really matches that talent that the Eagles have on both sides of the ball. I just don't see anyone competing with the Eagles. And so, as my co-host comes back, the second team I got in the NFC East is the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys.
I agree.
Because you can never count them out. You can never count out John. You can never count out Jones. In the fact that he will provide Dak Prescott with the weapons, and he certainly did, and he also got a lot of defensive pieces. Like I said, I had to clarify that Mozzie Smith should have not gotten an F grade because he matches what the Cowboys needed. He's a run stopper, which is something the Cowboys really need. So, given their division, now that they have to deal with Swift, and they have to deal with Barkley, and they have to deal with Gibson on the Commanders, or the other guy, what's his name?
Brian Robinson. Like,
that division is kind of stacked with running backs. So, yeah, they need run stoppers for sure. And so, I got the Cowboys second.
Cowboys second. I got them going 9-8 though. I feel like the schedule is going to be a little difficult for them, 100%.
Yeah.
They got Buffalo, for example, and They got the Jets. You know, they gotta face some hard teams, and I
sure.
do think they're gonna lose to some of those, just simply because I feel like they did address wide receiver, but I think them losing Dalton Schultz and Zeke Elliott is still not, especially Dalton Schultz.
Yeah.
It's not good. I still got them being the 5th seed though, 9-8.
I got the Cowboys 5th seed as well. Actually, I surprisingly had them as the 5th seed. But now on to the 3rd position in the NFC East. I got the New York Giants. The New York Giants are solid, and I will say that it could be interchangeable. I could see the Giants getting 10 wins, over 10 wins. Given that the team was solid last year, overachieved,
100%.
making the playoffs. Brian Dable winning Coach of the Year, making Barkley look like a prime Barkley, making Daniel Jones look solid, okay, at least solid. It's interchangeable for me. That defense is still pretty stacked. You know, adding some pieces, but we'll see. We'll see. I think that's going to be a big question mark. Will the Giants?
I also think the Giants are going to be 3rd place, but I think they're going to be 7-10. I think they take a step back. I believe that they just need more weapons. Honestly, I feel like the wide receiver one there is very questionable. Like, who is it? Who is it going to be?
Slade?
Maybe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's still the receiving options are not that appealing for Daniel Jones. But like I said, I still definitely think they'll be 7-10. I still think they will be not too far off from the wild card. I think they're 1 game out because number 7 seed for me is gonna be 8-9, and we'll go into that later. But and then 4th place, I mean Commanders, and I feel like you're 100%.
Yeah, I mean I don't even have to say much. It's the Commanders. They ain't gonna win games.
Yeah, I feel like the Commanders are gonna be 3-14. I feel like they're gonna be in the Caleb Williams sweepstakes. I don't. Maybe Sam Howell does surprise us, but I'm thinking from the perspective that they for sure, them and the Giants are pretty much the same team, except the difference is that the Giants have better coaching. And I mean, I know that's probably a little bit of a hot take, but I really think the Giants.
It's a hot take. The Giants have way more solid pieces than the Giants.
I think the Giants have better. The only thing I for sure think the Giants have better is the secondary and the running backs. But everything else, I feel like it's pretty even. And nevertheless, though, I still think the Commanders are not gonna be. They'll be last 3-14.
Yeah. On to the next division. It's one that obviously is very close to me, very familiar to me.
If it's the NFC North, then I'm agreeing with you because I have the top 3 teams very close.
I have the NFC North, and the reality is this division is going to be a lot closer than people think. A lot of people like you think the Vikings are going to be competing. I mean, you previously have said it to me that the Vikings are going to be a top team.
Well, that was before the Darius Smith trade.
So overall, though, I still have the Vikings at first because you have Justin Jefferson. You have an okay defense now. You still have weapons there at your disposal for Cook. You still have, for Kirk, you have Cook. You have Jay Jadis. You got Osborne. And you got Hawkinson.
Addison. I don't know if you said Addison, but.
Addison and Hawkinson. So that team is not going to not compete, That team is not going to lose just out of nowhere. They're still going to be the 1st seed, but they're going to barely make 10. They're going to barely crack that 10 mark. What do you think about that?
Well, I don't know how you're going to feel about this, but I have the Green Bay Packers being first in that division. I don't know how you feel about that, but I think Jordan Love will somehow, unfortunately, be better than people think.
Yeah.
I think I feel like you should be enjoying what I'm saying, but I think they're gonna be 9-8 though. 9-8. That they're gonna be the worst first place team in the whole NFL.
That is
9-8.
That is very optimistic of you.
Fourth seed.
That is very optimistic of you because that's not happening, dude. The Green Bay Packers are nowhere close to being on that level. Yes, they have a good team, but did we make?
I think they have something the Vikings don't really have, which is a defense.
But did we make the playoffs last year?
They were 9-8, and I forgot them going 9-8 again this year. But I think that division actually got worse. In terms of the teams that the Packers had to worry about, I think that division got worse.
I think you're very optimistic because I don't have the Packers making the playoffs. I don't have the Packers cracking 10 wins.
I said 9-8.
I know, but I'm just saying it for myself. I have not. I'm not seeing it, man. I love Jordan Love. I love my team, but the reality is we're gonna take a step back because we don't have Aaron Rodgers, who's carried us year after year after year.
But I will say this though, I feel like you guys will have someone that's gonna be, I wouldn't say Devontae level, but for sure a wide receiver 1 in Christian Watson. I really do believe in Christian Watson after what I saw firsthand.
Yes.
And I think Bryce Love and Christian Watson will impress a lot of people. And not only that, I mean, the running backs there are one of the best in the NFL in terms of like the overall depth.
The handcuff.
And 100% think the secondary is one of the best. I think the defensive line is very good. And yeah, I think the Packers are going to be first just because of their defense.
But second is the Detroit Lions. They dominated last year. They dominated us. There's no way in hell we're better than the Lions now. There's no way in hell. The Lions have arguably, one of the best wide receivers in St. Brown. He's one of the solid wide receivers in the league. Goff took a step forward. Previously a lot of people wanted him traded. A lot of people wanted him released. But now he's actually proven why, he was the number 1 overall pick, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't... Given that they kept pretty much the same team other than losing Okuda. And they got Gardner Johnson, right?
Yeah.
I just don't think the team is going to fumble that bad. I don't think they're going to drop that low. And so I got them going second.
I got the Vikings going second. 8-9 though, but they still make it on a 7th seed in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think their offense isn't going to be too problematic. What I'm really concerned about is their defense.
Mm-hmm.
I think that defense is going to be bad. Flat out.
Yeah.
I think they have holes. I think the defense is going to sell them games. And not only that, I mean, I think the only part of the offense that's for sure going to be good is the passing game. I mean, Dalvin Cook, he's not the best of the best anymore. He's kind of regressed a little bit. He's a
mirror image of himself now. It's not the Cook we know.
And Kirk Cousins, he's good, but he's just good.
Yeah.
He's not like freaking. He's not top 10. So I mean, I got the Vikings going 8-9. I think they'll be in a lot of shootouts, a lot of close. And now I think because if you think about it, they were 13-4 with I think a negative margin.
Yeah.
A negative margin, and they were 13-4.
Let's
say they get a negative margin again, they're gonna be around 8-9. Yeah. It shouldn't be crazy. I do think they'll score, but the defense should be a problem for them.
Yeah, and then third, I got my team, the Green Bay Packers, because we could have been smarter in the draft. That's all I gotta say. We could have been a bit more smarter in the draft. If I was the GM, I would have made better picks than him. Lucas Van Ness, he's a solid pick. I'll give him that. That's the pick that I don't mind. But the second round, you really get a tight end in Musgrove that I don't know. Was it Musgrove? His name's Musgrove, right? I just feel like you could have traded up for a guy like Michael Mayer. You could have traded up for a guy like Laporta. It just disappoints me there. I feel like with Michael Mayer, the way he fell, they should have taken a gamble and traded up for him.
And third, I have the Lions 8-9. I think the reason why is because the first few weeks of the season, I really believe it's gonna be rough for them. They're literally just gonna have a Monroe St. Brown, and the running backs are still not bad. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like there's just a lot of question marks on the offense right now.
Yeah,
I feel like Laporta can be good. But, I mean, obviously we don't know.
Yeah, no.
I feel like Gibbs could be certainly good, but we don't fully know.
No.
I feel like, well, I mean, we already know Montgomery's realistically, Montgomery's a average to above average.
Yeah.
And they lost Jamal Williams. They lost DeAndre Swift. That was important to them.
Yeah.
And their defense did get improved in some ways, but in some ways, I don't know. I'm just thinking the Lions are going to be in the middle of the road again, and I think they're going to be 8 or 9. Barely missed the playoffs.
I got the Lions barely making it in, if I'm being honest. I have them barely making it in with at least 9 wins. And lastly, I guess we both agree that the Chicago Bears are going to be last. The Chicago Bears, I don't know. They had free agency additions, but were they smart? I certainly think they overpaid Edmonds. I don't think he was the obvious choice. I mean, I don't think he was the best choice at that point. So the Bears could have just done better at free agency. They could have addressed the wide receiver room, given that they only got DJ Moore and that's about it. Because Darnell Mooney is not that guy. I just think, and also the running back room. Who the hell is their running back?
Khalil Herbert.
Yeah, that's literally the only guy I know, and I think they needed a running back. They could have pursued Jamal Williams.
Khalil Herbert's good though, honestly. He's actually good.
I won't dismiss him, but I just think that there was just some certain pieces that they could have addressed, like the offensive line. They fumbled in the offensive line. They could have done better. They could have done better. So I think they're just gonna take a step back and they're gonna fumble and they're gonna be a bottom 5 team again.
I think the Bears are gonna be 5-12. I think they'll barely miss the bottom 5 because there's some teams out here right now that I had not even said, but when we get to them, yeah. So I think the Bears will be 5-12. I think they'll barely miss the bottom 5. Or I think they're the 5th lowest of anything.
Yeah.
I don't believe in Fields. I gotta be honest. I love his running ability.
Yeah.
I love some of the things he does, but I don't believe in him. I don't believe in him. And the defense, they're known for defense, but the Bears, what do they have on defense really? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, 5-12. I think they'll be last.
Yep, and on to another division that's very lackluster, but could be very surprising at the end of the day, is the NFC South. Overall, I got the Saints going first. They got a good quarterback in Derek Carr coming over. The Saints have solid pieces on the offensive side. Defense is pretty shaky, but given the situation of that division, I just think the Saints are going to pull through and win a lot of games.
Yeah. Well, but before I forget, the Packers are the 4th seed to me. Vikings are 7th. I don't know if I mentioned it, but yeah. And then back to what you're saying, the NFC South, I also had the Saints going first. I feel like they're the only team there that actually has like you said, pretty much a formidable offense. Yeah, for sure. And Derek Carr's right now he's the best quarterback in that division.
100.
And I was looking at their schedule, and the reason why, and I got them going 12-5 just because I do think that they're gonna rack up wins because they have AFC South competition, and their division is not good. Yeah, I think it'll be like I'll say kind of like the Vikings of 2022. I think they'll be like that.
They'll win at least 10 games. Huh?
They'll win at least 10 games, but they pass the eye test for being good, but they don't pass the eye test for being a real contender. Yeah, no, yeah. I think they'll go 12-5 though and be 3rd seed.
Yeah, I'd see them. The Saints going 4th seed, right behind the Vikings with the 3rd. Second, in the NFC South division, I have the Falcons. The Falcons, because they're a young team that has a lot of aspirations that honestly can overachieve at any point. Drake London was solid. Algier was solid. Cordell Patterson was still doing his thing. And now you got a guy like Bijan Robinson, who arguably could be the number 1 running back, number 1 rookie running back. So I think they'll overachieve in some aspects, but I don't think they're going to be in the wild card mix. I think they win 7-8 games, but that'll be it for them. Like the Falcons, I think the Falcons have a bright future, but it just depends on Ritter, and it depends on how that defense does.
I have the Panthers actually going 2nd. I got them going 8-9. I think Bryce Young is going to show why he was number 1 overall. And honestly, I can't imagine right now a team that has Desmond Ridder at the quarterback being 2nd place, honestly. But nevertheless, I think the Panthers will be second, 8-9. I feel like someone is gonna just show up for him. I do think they have a lot of NFL receiver for sure. Like I like Chark a lot.
Yeah.
I think Thielen can certainly be a complementary piece. I like the burst of Chanel. I like the potential Marshall has. So I feel like their offense will have a little bit of an identity year one with Bryce Young. And I liked Foreman's running. And I feel like he was a little bit of a sleeper. And the Panthers won 7 games last year with no real quarterback. Yeah. So them going 8-9 should not be super crazy. And I think they go second.
Yeah, the Panthers, I have them going third. But like you said, I feel like they will make it interesting in that division, given the fact that Bryce Young does go to a team that has solid coaching, and has a solid, cast around him. Like, if it was him going to, like, the Colts or going to, like, Texans, like, yeah, he wouldn't succeed at all. But given the fact that the Panthers are actually building upon it, I think he's going to the perfect situation. And
the best situation for him.
Yeah, and I think the Panthers could pull some shockers. But I don't know. We'll see till the season starts. But lastly, the Buccaneers.
Let me hold on. Let me say third first.
Oh, my bad.
Third,
I'm jumping the gun. My
third,
bad.
I have Atlanta Falcons. I can't dismiss the fact that they have a lot of good weapons.
Yeah.
They really have a lot of good weapons. I think they for sure with Bijan now there. I mean, even though I don't agree with them getting him, they for sure have a top 5 running offense.
Yeah.
I really like Algier and Bijan. The running backs are going to be very good there.
Mm-hmm.
And Pitts, I feel like he's overrated now. But Drake London for sure looks like he could be a real one.
Yeah.
And I like the Falcons secondary. And nevertheless, though, I still feel like Desmond Ridder and Bryce Young. Who do I like more? And it's Bryce Young. So,
yeah, well, the one
6-11.
One of them is a 4th round pick, and the other is a 1st rounder. So
yeah, 6-11, Atlanta. That's what I got them going.
And on to the last seed in the NFC South, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I'll be here. I'll be here, and I'll tell anyone right now. You probably already caught on to it, but the Buccaneers will be selecting Caleb Williams with the number 1 pick in the 2024 draft. 100%. Calling it right now. Caleb Williams is a buck. Caleb Williams is a Buccaneer. And they'll probably trade Mike Evans or Goodwin. They'll trade one of those guys. But he's going to have a good cast. He's not going to have the worst case scenario, which could be the team like, the Browns or the Titans that don't give you anything. But
the Titans specifically.
Yes, the Titans. If you go to the Titans, man, I'll feel really bad for you because they'll probably have they won't have Derrick Henry there anymore. They won't have Derrick Henry anymore. So, calling it now, Tampa Bay is gonna get Caleb Williams.
All right, I got Tampa Bay being last, and I got them in a quarterback sweepstakes. But I don't think they're gonna get Caleb Williams. I think they'll go 3-14. But who else do I have going 3-14? The Patriots. Who else do I have? I actually have one team doing worse than both of them, the Titans. So I have 2 teams already right there. Mm-hmm. They're gonna be right there with the Bucs.
Yeah.
So I do think they're being a quarterback sweepstakes, but I do not think they're gonna get Caleb Williams.
But I agree with your take. They'll have the quarterback sweepstakes, but the reality is they're gonna get Caleb Williams. They're not that good this year. Kyle Trask.
So you're essentially saying they're gonna be 32nd.
Yeah.
I think they'll be like 30th.
Kyle Trask is not the answer.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield is not the answer.
Yeah, I think they'll be like 30th.
I've been saying it for the longest. I was saying it during the draft. They need a quarterback. Will Levis should have been right there. But it's telling me that since they didn't get Will Levis, it's really telling me that they're going all in for Caleb Williams next year.
I mean, I agree that they're going all in for a quarterback next year.
Yeah.
But I think they know at the same time their offense, unless they trade Mike Evans, which I do predict them trading Mike Evans.
Yeah.
They have some pieces where it just does not tell you that they're a bottom 5 team.
Yeah.
In the offense. Like the Patriots and the Titans. Their weapons are not as good as Tampa.
Yeah.
You can't sit here and deny that to me.
No.
So that's why I have them going worse. But nevertheless, now to the final division, my favorite division, my division, the NFC West. The first place team I feel like is gonna be the Seattle Seahawks. I think they're gonna be 12-5. I think they're gonna be 12-5. I think they will sweep the Niners. That's a hot take. I think they'll sweep the Niners this time. They improved their secondary like a motherfucker. They improved their offense like a motherfucker. They knew what they were doing. I think the Seahawks are gonna be 12-5, and I think they're gonna be the second seed.
Let me ask you a question. Why are you a hypocrite?
Why am I a hypocrite? What do you mean?
You had Jackson Smith-Njigba out of the top 5 rookie wide receivers.
But they have depth.
I
said they have depth.
You had Zach Charbonnet.
I didn't say they were gonna be bad.
Top 5
I said they had.
And you're having.
I did okay. Yes, I didn't have them in the top 5, but they have the best depth in the NFL. I'm saying that right now. So they have the best depth in the NFL for offense.
To get to that point, they're gonna need Jackson Smith-Njigba and Zach Charbonnet to basically, pull through. Right?
They don't need Zach Charbonnet. They just need Ken Walker.
Yes, they need 2 running backs. But the fact is, you having the Seahawks as the first seed.
Second seed. Second.
Why are you saying the second seed?
Eagles first.
No. The first seed in the division.
Yes, 100%.
Yes, that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
The reality is, that's a hypocrite. You were talking shit about all these guys, and all of a sudden they're the first seed. Like, brother, what? Not the first seed. The first in the division. They need those guys, those rookies, to step up. If you're gonna tell me that,
I think they will.
Oh, Jackson Smith-Njigba was just gonna.
I think. I only think JSN and Witherspoon certainly will. I think Zach Charbonnet, he'll be all right. But like I said, I think they're the best team in the West now.
Yeah, that's a very bold take, because the reality is, I think you're scared of your father. You're scared of your father, and that's the San Francisco 49ers. I think you're scared to admit that they're a contending team again. I think you're scared to admit that they're going to sweep the Rams again.
They are. We'll keep going.
Yeah, and so the 49ers are going to be the number 1 team in the NFC West. They run the West.
What's the seed then? What seed? Second seed or what?
I have them the second seed. Because no way the Seahawks are going to be the second seed. Actually, if you there's the team out of the West is going to be the second seed no matter what. There's no other team. The Vikings aren't going to be second. The Saints aren't going to be second. So yeah, any team that comes out of the West is going to be the second seed. But you cannot deny me the fact that the 49ers did not just retain everyone. They retained everyone.
I agree. Look.
And they got Davenport.
Look, not Davenport. They got that other guy, Hargrave. But you see, I got the Niners going 9-8. Oh. Second place. Sixth seed.
What makes you think they're gonna go 9-8? The quarterback situation?
Yes.
You don't think Trey Young?
I think Brock Purdy had some flashes for sure, but I really do believe that the NFL is gonna figure him out, and they're gonna lose some tough games. They have a tough schedule though. They have it a little bit tougher than Seattle. That's why I think they're going 9-8. I still think they'll make the playoffs barely. So I still think they'll be 6th seed. But yeah, I just think the San Francisco 49ers are gonna take that step back on offense. Not on defense, they'll still be pretty good.
I'm gonna say is I wouldn't be surprised if you get flamed by 49ers fans after these comments.
And yeah, I mean, it's just concerning. I think the offense for the 49ers. And I personally am hating on the Niners. I feel like they're just simply going to take a step back. And I feel like someone's just going to take a step back on that offense. Because I'm feeding for it. And I'm being biased right now, but I do think they're going to be second place, in all seriousness.
I mean, it's better than being 4th, but number 2, Seattle Seahawks. The rookies are going to step up. The boys are going to continue balling. Geno Smith is going to continue riding back. They're going to be the 6th seed. I have them the 6th seed. They're still going to be a playoff team. I just don't see them dropping off that fast after a solid draft like that.
I think 3rd and 4th is going to be tied between the Rams and the Cardinals. I have them both winning 4 games. I think the Cardinals, when they get Kyler Murray back, they're going to be competitive and win some games. I don't think they're going to trade D-Hop, even though I know that he's probably gonna be demanding for it. I feel like they have a plan already.
Yeah.
I mean, with that deal with the Texans, I think the Cardinals are really gonna say, "Look, D-Hop, like you're not leaving." You know what I'm saying? We have a bunch of these draft picks. You're not leaving. You don't have to worry.
Yeah.
And then I have them and the Rams both winning 4 games. I feel like they're both not gonna do that good. I feel like I my team. Now let me say this: the reason why I have my team and them tied for third/last, barely winning any games, is because I think my team. We have we have O-line problems, which is important. We lost a lot of defensive pieces, which is also important, and we have a lack of depth on offense. Besides Cooper Kupp, Van Jefferson is like the most luckiest wide receiver 2 in the NFL right now. He should not even be wide receiver 2. Ben Skoranek, he's had his moments, nevertheless, but the fact that he's on that field, I mean, he's not super good. And Cam Akers, he's had his moments, but he's very inconsistent. And I just feel like my team is not gonna win that much. Plain and simple. And
I've been hearing the same story over and over again. The Rams don't have an offensive line. The Rams have this. Like, the reality is they have talent. They're not gonna just fall off the map of the earth.
They had won 5 games. Yes, they got hurt. But let's think about it this way: they are blowing it up. My team is blowing it up. We let Floyd walk.
But
we let Ramsey get traded. We let Wagner walk. That's literally telling me.
I mean, you can say Ramsey walked. You can say he walked too because that trade was trash.
Shut up.
It was.
But let's just. You can't tell me though that we are not essentially kind of tanking at this point.
Okay, it's the real thing, man. I'll tell you straight to your face as an unbiased and a logical fan, because you're just the previous week you were like, we're getting the Caleb Williams stakes, and that's not fucking happening. Reality is, you guys have Donald, the best defensive player in the league. You guys have one of the best receivers in the league in Cooper Kupp. You have one of the rising players in Cam Akers. You have obviously Matthew Stafford, who won a Super Bowl. You have guys that are not just gonna give up and go down like that, you know. If you start trading everyone, if you start trading Donald,
I'm gonna promise you right now, we're gonna be like 2-5, and then you're gonna start seeing, oh shit, the Rams might trade Cooper Kupp. Oh shit, the Rams might trade Aaron Donald.
I mean, I wouldn't be
surprised. Which leads to this: I predict Aaron Donald getting traded to the Steelers. Straight up, he's gonna go back to his hometown, and then you'll be like, wow. The Rams are tanking.
That's too much of a That's so much of a story, a fairy tale right there, because
I don't care, but that's how I feel.
I feel happy for the Steelers because that weekend's
that's
the Rams.
That's how I feel.
And the Rams would probably get like a bag of peanuts and a Philly cheese stick out of that. But the reality is the Rams aren't going to be as bad as the Cardinals because the Cardinals are going to be bad. The Cardinals are going to be horrendous because I don't know, is Kyler Murray going to be there in the beginning of the season? Or
no, he's going to be there supposedly probably week 8.
Yeah, the reality is the Cardinals are not going to be good at all. They're going to be trash.
But they have a more depth at receiver, and honestly, their defense and ours is not that good.
No, it's not. But the reality is the Cardinals are going to be in the top 3 position. The bottom.
But you can't. Okay, let's say they're top three pick. They're not gonna get a quarterback.
They're not.
And
I've already claimed what's gonna happen. They're gonna get Marvin Harrison Jr. But not only that, they're gonna trade Hopkins. You say they're not gonna trade Hopkins? I say they are, because for a team that wants to build around Kyler Murray, you gotta put all the chips in. And DeAndre Hopkins is not getting any younger. DeAndre Hopkins isn't getting any more productive. DeAndre Hopkins' peak was a couple years ago. I don't think he's going to be the same old DeAndre Hopkins right now.
I changed my mind. D-Hop is getting traded. But...
in all honesty, his peak was with Watson a couple years back. But if he goes to the right team, he can bounce back. I won't deny that. But I just think at this point, if you want to build around Kyler Murray, you trade away Hopkins, You you obviously have that Texans pick. You're probably going to get a bottom 3 pick. It's that the Cardinals are setting themselves up for a bright future.
They are. I agree. But also I gotta think about it this way. Like if Kyler returns early enough, I really see. I mean, and it's hard for me to just obviously sound logical right now, but I feel like he's a return early enough to where the Rams and the Cardinals are gonna end right at the same record. Right at the same record. Who's gonna be last? I don't know, but I don't think they're gonna have many wins on their plate.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, I have this theory that since the Rams are finally gonna have their first round pick in 2024, I'll say there would be like around 5 or 6. They're gonna trade up to number 1 for Caleb Williams with the Titans. The Titans are gonna go 5th or 6th. They're gonna get a receiver. The Rams are gonna say screw the draft picks because they've already done it so many times. And I think they'll dip into the Caleb Williams sauce, and I want them to. The Matthew Stafford contract is looking worse and worse every day. The Cooper Kupp can legitimately get traded too, and if he does, 100%, we need Caleb Williams. So, but I've really sensed that the Titans and the Rams are gonna have that trade, and the Rams are gonna get Caleb Williams. End of story. That's really how I feel right now. And I think the Titans are going to do it out of spite because they want a receiver in the top 5, top 6. And yeah, I mean, it's getting real spicy right now, but that's how I really feel. If it happens, you're going to have to call me a mastermind in a year from now if it happens.
No, because the reality is that you've gone completely mental. The reality is that you have lost all sense of logic and reasoning because...
Come on, though. I mean, the Stafford contract is not okay no more.
But what's worse, the Stafford contract, or the fact that you didn't have a first round pick for the last 4 or 5 years? Are you really gonna do that again by trading away all these first rounders for a quarterback that yes is considered a generational talent? But where's the offensive line? Where's the weapons? You might get rid of Kupp. Is Van Jefferson going to be the first option there? Skowronek is going to be the first option there? Cam Akers is always... Cam Akers probably will leave too, if I'm being honest. There's no way the Rams are that idiotic to be trading away their first round picks again after the struggles they've gone through now. Like... That's why I'm just saying, man. You're a little delusional. A little delusional. At least,
but okay. So where do you think my Rams are gonna be? You think we'll just keep a top 10 pick and just leave it like that?
The Rams?
Yes.
Yes, I can see them getting a top 10 pick
and just leave it like
that.
But
I can see them
not getting tempted to get Caleb Williams at number 1.
I can see them trading up, but they're not trading up for Caleb Williams.
For who?
Because the Buccaneers.
For who? Because who do they trade up for? What position? Tell me. Address it.
Quarterback.
Shut up. Just shut up.
They're not getting Caleb Williams.
You just said a quarterback.
Okay, but it's not Caleb Williams. It's not.
You just said a quarterback.
It's not Caleb Williams.
You just said a quarterback.
The Buccaneers.
You just said that we're training up for a quarterback.
But
hold on.
This is the reality.
Hold on, but you're agreeing with me that Stafford the contract is starting to not look good. You're agreeing with me, and you're really no, bro.
No, I'm putting you on blast.
You're wilding.
I'm putting you on blast.
You're wilding. You're saying we're gonna be a top 10 pick.
Yeah,
you're saying we're gonna be a top 10 pick, and we're gonna trade for a quarterback. So why not? Why is it crazy for me to say Caleb Williams?
Because if
it's the Titans, like I say, I really think the Titans are be number 1.
It's not gonna be the Titans.
Let's say it's the Titans, right? 100%. You cannot deny to me that they're gonna be like, you know what? We've already taken a couple quarterbacks, and the deeper, the further away from number 1 a team is, the more they're gonna have to give. So I mean, let's just be real. Like, you know, the Cardinals are not gonna want a quarterback. They're not gonna trade up. And the Rams are probably gonna be desperate, and they want to make sure they get either May or Williams, and they know that if the Buccaneers and the Patriots are above them, they're gonna have to go trade up above them. You know what I'm saying? Because let's just be real, the Patriots and the Buccaneers, and they're in the sweepstakes.
No, they're not.
They're in the sweepstakes.
They're not.
Yes, they are.
Because the reality is that if it's not the Buccaneers selecting him, someone else is going to go trade up for the number 1 pick. And it's not going to be the Rams. It's not going to be the Rams. There's a lot more teams that offer more than the Rams. The Rams, The Rams are not gonna.
We have draft. We're gonna have draft capital starting in 2024. So why not?
Because it's not gonna happen. Yes, they'll trade up. They'll
But you're saying we'll trade up. This is where I'm having a problem. You're saying we're gonna trade up. You're saying we're gonna be desperate, but we're not gonna be desperate enough.
No, hell no. Caleb, look. The reality is,
if
it's the Buccaneers,
you're still agreeing that we're gonna be desperett. This is crazy. This is crazy.
No, it's not crazy because
you're still saying we're desperate though.
Yeah, you guys. Listen here, buddy, because you're not hearing me clearly. If it's the Buccaneers as the number 1 pick, they're not trading up. They're not trading. They're not because who.
Okay,
it's illogical. It's illogical for the Buccaneers to just get.
I'll be honest, okay.
The Rams.
I'll be honest though. I mean, in a scenario where the Buccaneers are number 1, I will agree with you that they're gonna get Caleb Williams.
Yes.
In a scenario, but I'm talking about my scenario. scenario.
That's not happening.
If the Titans are number 1, which I predict,
it's not happening.
I don't think they're gonna. I think they'll trade back. Well, but if it's in your scenario where the Buccaneers are number 1, I agree 100%. Yeah, I'll be pissed off because I already know at that point we're not getting Caleb Williams.
No, yeah, but I'm just saying, if Stafford does shit with the bed this year, they could trade up for a quarterback. They could, but I just feel like
and I don't hate Stafford, but I just feel like he's getting old. The injuries are concerning. And that's why I am concerned as a Rams fan. I don't think we're going to do that good.
This is my argument. The Rams will be desperate enough to go up for a quarterback because if Caleb Williams is going to go number 1 overall, obviously if it's the Cardinals, then they're not going to get him. But if the Buccaneers are the number 1 pick overall, they're going to get Caleb Williams no matter what. They're not going to trade any.
I would agree. Okay, if it's the Buccaneers and Patriots, either or that number 1, I would agree with you. No argument there. I'm just going off of my prediction.
But the top 5, look, to round out the top 5, there's going to be teams that are not going to need a quarterback.
Yeah.
You're probably going to have the Commanders. That's a very big if. They might go for Drake May. They might. I could see that chance. Could see that happening. But there's going to be teams like the Cardinals.
There's some teams for
sure. Cardinals don't need a quarterback.
And they're not gonna be good.
No.
They're not gonna be good. I agree.
The Texans are not going to need a quarterback.
Yeah, they're still too early. Still too early.
The Panthers might not need a quarterback. They're not going to need a quarterback for sure. I'm just thinking that they're probably not going to be bottom 5. Let's see. The Patriots do need a quarterback, so that shit will happen. They will get it.
There's for sure teams right there that I would say are above the Rams that I think are in Commanders. I had them worse than the Rams. Patriots, I had them worse than the Rams. And Buccaneers, I had them worse than the Rams. Titans, I had them the worst than the Rams. But for sure, the first 3 teams I named, I can see them getting a quarterback.
Yeah.
If the Rams don't trade up, the Rams are not getting a quarterback. But my theory is the Titans would be the worst team. They know that, yes, their quarterbacks are probably still not good yet, but they need to give them a real shot. They've drafted quarterbacks year in and year out these past few years. So they're probably just going to say, screw it, we're not getting a quarterback. We want draft capital. We just gave up Henry and we want more. And let's say my Rams are like 5th, 6th, 7th. And the more, as I said, the more you are from number 1, the more likely they're going to agree with you because they know you're going to have to be trading more.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to say. And I think I'm not trying to, I hate it, but at the same time, I really do think we're going to be bad. I'm concerned for Stafford. He's getting old, and he had an injury that was they're downplaying it. It was more serious than they were acting.
100%.
A neck injury.
Yeah. Well, I just want to finish it off by saying that the Rams are going to have a top 10 pick for sure, 100%. But I don't know how desperate they're going to be for a quarterback. Yes, Stafford is old. They're going to need a quarterback. I just don't know the quarterback prospects on the top of my head other than May and Williams. But they're not going to get Williams. That's the bottom line. They're not going to get Williams. They got to absolutely shit the bed. They have to lose Cup. They have to lose Donald right away for them to even think about the Williams sweepstakes. But your delusional ass was already out here claiming it. It's just not going to happen like you think it is. It's going to get ugly. If it happens, it's going to get ugly again. It's just like how they lost all those first round picks years ago. It's gonna happen again, and I don't think it's gonna be worth it for the. If you want to build around the quarterback, you want to have those picks.
But here's my theory, right? We keep Cook, but then we instantly trade him. I mean, I'm doing a lot of gymnastics here. I admit it, but maybe I'm being biased. But this is my thought process. You know, I think we trade Donald and we get something right there, and then we give some of that to the Titans, and then we trade Cup shortly immediately after getting Caleb Williams, just to offset the tragedy we're gonna give to the Titans.
It's just a little.
I get it. It's a little crazy, but you can't sit here and deny.
I think
you can't sit here and deny though that we have cornerstone pieces that we can get draft revenue, and then we could trade that draft revenue for a quarterback.
I just think if you want to get the number 1 pick from a team like the Buccaneers, you're gonna have to offer them.
Oh no, okay, yeah. Actually, in your world, if it was the Buccaneers, yeah, it's the end of the story. I wouldn't even do it. But in my world, I think the Titans are be number 1. In my world, I mean that's my thought process. That's my thought process.
Well, I guess we pretty much covered everything. That's gonna be an argument for another day. Once the season gets wraps around and we get to see the final rosters, we get to see some. If there's any injury reports, we'll then kind of get a kind of closer image of how teams are gonna fare out this year.
I mean that's true though because these predictions are too preliminary.
Very preliminary. Because I think we should have a second going of this once training camp happens, once all the trades are finalized.
So let's label this as part 1.
Yes. And let's put an asterisk on it.
Part 1.
Yeah, this is a part 1. This is an asterisk. This is a Mickey Mouse ass predictions because this is way too soon. This is being optimistic. This is being like, that everyone will pan out. But we'll see once training camp comes around what goes on. What competitions are lost. What competitions are won. Who gets injured. Who gets traded. There's a lot of speculation still around.
And on a more serious note, though, before we hop off,
we're
going to take a break because the NFL world is pretty much sleeping for now. I mean, the schedule is released. We're going to have some downtime. And personally, I feel like at least me for sure, I need a mental health break because mental health matters. And I've been going through a lot. And it's been very difficult for me to do the show sometimes, but I'm out here doing my best, and I appreciate everyone that actually watches everything because this show keeps me going in a sense because I feel miserable in my outside life right now, and mental health matters. That's really something I want to say, and I just need this break to take a reset.
No, yeah. I mean, the reality is like we've been doing this show for the last couple months now. And now the NFL has reached a standstill as the draft has occurred, the schedules have already released, and so now the NFL world is going to be a little slow on news. So given that we're going to decide to take a break, that's going to be beneficial for the both of us.